I always said this show has heart, humor, and horror. And that's really the Ghostbusters touched on that, on those three aspects as well. And you definitely have that in Surreal Estate. In season one, certainly, and in season two, we just ramp it up. It's that much more. Storylines get fleshed out even further, and the ghosts are even scarier.
But Adam, you mentioned there about horror, but it's very light-hearted horror. It's not something that is going to have your jaw dropping or make you want to close your eyes or have vivid imagery that's going to keep you up and wake it awful lot. It's something that you sort of light-hearted, just anyone can be sort of entertained. We all know, and it's not sort of realistic type horror that we're sort of looking at, but it's got that sort of a bit of quirkiness to us, that sort of spin off in terms of comedy humor. But it's nothing that is going to leave you shaking in your boots either.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not The Exorcist. You're not going to be passing out or anything like that. We definitely it's definitely more, it's lighter. But I mean, it also depends on people's sensitivity level. I know that some people just watch like this, but it is you yeah it's not as realistic as some of the horror films make it out to be. It's lighter, and I think because we have the heart and the humor, it balances out really well. So you get like maybe sudden sort of shocks and whatnot, but then that's it. And then there's usually followed up by a funny joke or something like that, and you get that immediately in the first episode of season two. You get launched right into it, like no time has passed, and it's high action. We're dealing with a malevolent being immediately, and you get that tone immediately from the get-go. It's a fun opening for season two.
And tell me a bit about Father Phil Orley. Obviously,
Yeah.
dare I say, he's probably not the guy who's splashing the Mercedes or the keys around and start dotting the I's and crossing the T's in terms of selling houses. Where does Father Phil Orley fall into the whole concept of surreal estate?
Well, he is the fallen priest. He is the priest that has been excommunicated from the church, um, for who he is, and being a gay man. Didn't really The church didn't vibe with that, and for Phil, his whole thing was he always wanted to fight evil, and he thought he could do that through the church. As a priest, he thought that was the best way that he could fight evil and bring goodness to the world. And his path ended up going a different way, and he, finding the Roman agency and Luke Roman, he was given this opportunity to fight evil in a different way. And for Father Phil, um, he uses his mind more so than anything else. He's the researcher. He finds out what's going on, why these things are happening, history about a property, about a being, to sort of give an understanding as to how we'll fight that being. But he also will use his brute strength to get the job done as well. He's not a pushover, that's for sure. So he's a bit of brains and a bit of brawn, to get the job done.
I suppose we all know the chemistry Tim Rozon and Sarah Levy have from working on Schitt's Creek
Yeah.
together, and obviously coming into a sort of TV series, obviously a Canadian sort of TV sort of show because it's shot in Newfoundland, and obviously Tim and Sarah. Did you almost feel that camaraderie between the cast in terms of that sort of cohesion? Did everything sort of click straight away? Savannah Baisley, her first sort of dip into sort of comedic sort of humor as well in terms of that. Did you just feel that there's a nice blend in terms of everybody's story, everybody's backstory? Because that's one thing Tim Focus told me, that maybe on season two that we get to see, we get to learn an awful lot more about everyone's different angle and everyone's side players within the whole sort of universe that is Surreal Estate.
Yeah, you definitely get to see more of our storylines and character backgrounds and whatnot, more into our lives. Sarah and I knew each other before filming this, which was really nice, and it was a nice surprise. But we started filming the first season during COVID, and that was obviously a tricky time. And usually, before you start filming anything, you have an opportunity for cast to get together and to bond and to, get to know each other. And we didn't have that opportunity. We had to go get to Newfoundland. We had to quarantine, and then we were sort of just put on set. And I gotta tell you, Jim, it was almost like a miracle, because I feel like this rarely happens, and there's a lot that goes into casting and a process in order to get that sort of chemistry amongst an ensemble. And we had it. It was like, honestly, from the first day, the five of us just gelled tremendously well. And then we rode that in season one, and then we had a large break between season one and filming season two. And then it's sort of that question of we've been away from our characters and from each other for so long. How is that going to be coming back into the second season? And again, it was sort of like no time had passed. It was like a long weekend, and we all came back and jumped into it, which and not only that, but we were able to grow together, which was really, really nice.
Adam, as an actor, are you a sort of a fan of the sci-fi genre in terms of that sort of futuristic element, in terms of that sort of stretches the boundaries in terms of what people are capable to do, the capabilities to get to live sort of different scenarios that you won't be able to live in your own sort of life? Is that excite you as an actor, or is there all different types of genres that you're keen on, or does sci-fi hold a special? I know it's very popular in Canada, it's deep rooted, but does it have a popular sort of interest to you? Is it your own sort of not genre that you feel at ease in?
I do enjoy sci-fi. My father, he when I was growing up, he'd be watching a lot of Star Trek and a lot of sci-fi type shows and films. And I remember he sat me down. We watched The Exorcist together for the first time. And so sci-fi for me has always been it's always been quite comfortable. I've always enjoyed it. 2001: A Space Odyssey. I still love sitting down and watching that film. And I think that when you're able to take a genre like sci-fi, which does feel sort of otherworldly, it does feel sort of how is that possible? It doesn't feel grounded. It doesn't feel relatable. When you take that genre and you're able to take characters that ground it and that make it real, that's the kind of sci-fi I like, because it's accessible. Because now not only are you falling in love with the characters and the storylines, but you do believe that those things are possible because you're invested in that story, you're invested in that world. I think sci-fi that's done well accomplishes that. It can be any genre, it doesn't even matter at that point. It just so happens that there's a supernatural element to it, or a science fiction element to it. Like even Twilight Zone. I mean, I grew up watching Twilight Zone as well. I love Twilight Zone. I was able to do an episode of the revival, Jordan Peele, the new Twilight Zone. And that was a dream come true, because again, you sort of get to live in this world that is seemingly real as the world that we live in today, but have these other aspects to it that seem otherworldly, yet completely make sense and attainable. And like I said, that's when sci-fi is done right. And we have that, I believe, in Surreal Estate. I think that when you watch it, these things happen, but you go, well, sure, my house is haunted. So why wouldn't I hire that estate agency, to come in and help me sell this house? It just makes sense.
And I suppose, Adam, in terms of season two, is there an underlying sort of arc within the sort of concept of the show, or they're very much the episodes sort of standalone episodes?
There's a blend of both. There is one sort of overarching storyline, which I don't want to give too much away. But it's definitely worthwhile to tune in for, because where we end up is pretty cool at the end of the season. But there is that one arc. But then every episode you do have sort of the mini storylines, which sort of stand alone. And again, I find that as a viewer, I find that interesting, because you're getting something new every week, and yet you want to keep tuning in to find out what happens with that one storyline. Which I think is smart and helpful, especially in today's market where there's so much television out there. You want to have a reason to come back and watch that show.
And I suppose in terms of the ceiling for Surreal Estate, in terms of, do you feel at the moment, I suppose every actor loves to be attached to a sort of TV series, because you there's a sort of sense of comfortability in terms of being attached maybe to a 20 episode or 15 episode per season. But also there's that underlying concept and theme that you just never know if it will be your last season where you could meet your demise, or will a show producer or network sort of pull the plug. So as actors, when you're involved in a successful concept and now you're shooting season 2, do you sort of take it season by season? You don't sort of look ahead and say, oh yes, the ratings are good, this is popularity, we know, I have a good feeling that there'll be another season onto that? Or is just the way it is in the industry, you just don't know? Is it you just take it day by day and enjoy the ride, as the saying goes?
I think that the smartest thing you can do as an actor when doing any job is giving your 100% every day that you go into work, contributing, collaborating, as if it were your last day, not worrying about what tomorrow brings, because we don't know. I mean, that's just a lesson in life, really. You don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. It's a cliche, but it's true. You know, you live the moment. And you live that moment to its fullest. You can, as an actor playing a character, you can get killed off. You could stay on. You get killed off, then brought back. A show could be, I've done shows before where they're like, you're absolutely going another season, and then the plug is pulled. We don't know reasons why these things happen. So there's this sense of give 100% of your commitment every day you show up to work. But also you have to let it go. The moment you walk away, you have to, it's almost like 100% move on. Because if you hold on too tight to that, then you'll end up having disappointment. And you can find yourself in a pretty dark hole because of it, So you have to love and appreciate the moments that you're in and not worry about tomorrow, because we don't know, but enjoy the moment that you're in. And that's the thing. We didn't think, Surreal Estate season 1, we got canceled, and then it was brought back. It was resurrected as which is perfect for our show. We were resurrected from the dead and brought back for a season 2, which was a complete surprise to all of us. So you never know in this business. But like I said, as an actor, give yourself 100% commitment, enjoy every moment, and just not concern yourself with the next.
As the saying goes, Adam, you are reincarnated, as the saying goes. But for the final, but for the final 30 seconds, you might enlighten all our audience, all our listeners, why they should tune in on January the 9th for season 2 of Surreal Estate, featuring Sarah Levy, Tim Rozon, Maurice Dean Wint, Samantha Baisley, Art Hindle, and yourself, Adam Korson. And over to you, Adam. What's in store for our audience and our listeners?
Well, I think to tune into Surreal Estate, you'd have a complete exciting ride, from first episode to last. You'll be invested in these characters 100% of the time. You'll get hooked into their lives. You'll fall for their hearts. You'll laugh at their humor, and you might get shocked a little bit about what they see when they walk into different houses. But one thing's for sure is you'll have a great time watching it. You'll be able to put your worries at the door, sit down, relax, and enjoy for an hour of your time.
On that note, from me, Jim Conlan, to you, Adam Korson, all that's left to say is do check out Adam's role as Father Phil Orley on season 2 of Surreal Estate, out here in Ireland and the UK on channel Sci-Fi UK on January the 9th. But for me, Jim Conlan, to you, Adam Korson, stay safe, take care, and God bless, sir.
Cheers. God bless.
Yep.